Hey Ryan, what's going on? Hello, other two viewers and Ryan. Just waiting on George and JR to get in. But I'll chat with you. What's going on, Austin? Nice Mandalorian avatar, Austin. I literally just watched episode 6 a couple minutes before I came in here, which I thought it was very good. Alex in the house, Michael Reed, what's going on? Heroing. I'm good, man. Like I said earlier, I'm waiting for JR and George to come in so we can record 2 Friday Night Fights and 2 Spider Histories. I know Mandalorian was really good, really good. How many episodes is it going to be? Is it 8? Because it's wrapping up quick. Ryan, it's well worth $60 for a year is a great price. Eight. Yep. Well, I think we just had episode 6, so we're almost done. We do? I thought we had to wait till Friday. So they're Oh, are they? I guess they're releasing an episode before the movie comes out, possibly. So, Flo, what's going on? How are you, sir? Michael Reed. I don't know if they. Hey, George.
What's up, dude?
I don't know if they. I don't know if they need to be longer. I think they're telling the story that they need to tell. We're talking Mandalorian.
Oh, dude. Yeah. I am. And I'll admit, because Brad. Sometimes we get people, or we used to get people like like when they used to talk crap about us in the iTunes reviews, right? It was usually me they hated. And they'd be like, "Oh, you should know it all," or whatever, And I've always said, dude, when I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong. I was dubious about Disney Plus. Remember, like way back when they first came out with that and they announced it. I was like, I don't know about this crap. Disney Plus is awesome.
It's really cool.
Disney Plus is fantastic.
Yeah. Do you see episode 6 today? I was texting. I just watched it before I came here.
I watched
it during dinner.
I did watch it.
It's really, this latest episode is really good. I liked it a lot.
I did. The last episode I enjoyed, the one with Ming-Na Wen, although I felt it felt like, out of all of them, it felt the most like a filler. And I'm like, dude, you've only got 8 episodes. We shouldn't have a filler one.
You mean the girl from Deadpool?
Ming-Na Wen, no, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, the one where they went out and went to Tatooine.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that one. Okay, yeah. I kind of liked that one.
I mean, I liked Amy Sedaris. She was cool.
Is she the lady that was at the docking station?
Yeah, she's a comedian. Yeah. She's a comedic actor.
I liked her.
She's actually done a lot of stuff. Dude, I'm so in love with Baby Yoda.
Oh, I do too. I want to get a pop of him. I think I want something.
Oh, they've got those coming out. That's
you got to wait till July, according to Amazon.
Yeah, I mean that's messed up. But I understand. I understand why they did it that way. I do. I understand why they did it. But no, it's funny to me because I liked The Force Awakens, right? I thought, I was like, you know what? They're doing something new. Yes, they've kind of rehashed some elements to make it kind of feel a little more Star Wars. Star Wars. Yeah, I get it. I understand why.
Yeah,
I thought it was it was not perfect. It was flawed. A lot of the relationships, we've talked about this. A lot of the relationships are just out of nowhere.
Yeah,
it's like, hello, dude that used to be a stormtrooper. Hey, we're best friends now. I mean, there's very little organic character building. But I thought that the first one had promise. All that was gone by the second movie.
See, I like the second movie more.
I know, but I know we've been over this. You like a lot of things that suck, but
hence why we're friends. Oh.
No, yeah, I mean that's a legitimate point, but yeah, I mean, like
I hit you so hard your webcam went out of focus.
I know, right? I got dinged. My grandkids felt that one. Good job, but no, I did. I hated it. The first time I was like, this was not that great. Second time I was like, no, this was an insult. The writing is insultingly bad. And if you're a Skywalker fan like me, I'm like, yeah, you really threw Luke under the bus. with this thing. So when everything I've seen of the Last Jedi, or not the Last Jedi, everything I've seen of Rise of Skywalker has so underwhelmed me, and I just don't care. I'm just looking forward to it being done, so that it can go forward and go. See what they're gonna screw up next.
I have bought advanced tickets. I'm going to see it a week from tomorrow.
I am seeing it. I'm seeing it on. Here's the thing. I
today.
This is an omen, Brad. I bought my ticket. I guess a few days ago. And
well, there's the old man. Hey, JR.
Yeah, so I bought my ticket a few days ago.
Where's an old man?
Get a mirror. We'll find him.
So I bought my ticket a few days ago.
Yeah.
And it was 11:50, December 20th, right? I was the only seat that had been pre-sold. That was everything else was available.
I don't think it's going to have problems making money.
So no, I think it's going to make money. It's just there's so little energy for this thing now because of Last Jedi.
JR, are you going to see Star Wars?
I don't know if Spencer wants to go, maybe, but I have absolutely no enthusiasm for it whatsoever.
It's weird though, because like as tepid, and no, I'll go beyond tepid, as frustrated and disappointed as I am with the way that Star Wars, the movies are going.
Yeah.
Except for Rogue One. Rogue One was the last movie I actually liked.
It was great.
Despite that, The Mandalorian is insanely good. It's like I look at Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni and like Deborah Chow, and I'm like, they actually understand what Star Wars is, and they get it in a way that J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy don't.
I like the little line in The Mandalorian this week's episode. He was like, I used to be a sharpshooter for the
sharpshooter.
Yeah. He was like, well, that doesn't say much. He was like, I wasn't a stormtrooper. I was a star. I thought that was funny.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. It's weird. It's like you have on the one hand you have Disney, you have people like Kathleen Kennedy, and you have a lot of people at Lucasfilm, and you have J.J. Abrams and some of the stars talking about like, oh, the fans are toxic fandom. Oh, they don't like this and they don't like that. They need to grow up and they're all man babies, baby. And the same people that they're complaining about love The Mandalorian. Yeah. So that makes me want to. It makes me want to pull them aside and say, maybe since they love this. Because there's no fighting. I have not seen any back and forth fan bickering over The Mandalorian at all. Everyone's just like, when is the next episode coming out?
Exactly. Let me binge it, please.
But the movie stuff, the saga stuff that they've been perpetually screwing up now for the last two films, they're like, oh, we have toxic fans and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, really? Because your toxic fans are signing up for Disney Plus to watch The Mandalorian. So maybe it's not them. Maybe it's you.
Do you think they shouldn't have gone back to the well and gotten Luke, Leia, and Han?
They should have done something completely different. Yeah. I mean, if all they were going to do is bring them back to kill them off in these tepid ways and have Rey be literally, and here's the thing, I liked Rey a little. I understood the Mary Sue argument for Rey in the first film and why a lot of people didn't like it. Overall, I liked the character. All of that went out the window in the second film. By the second film, all of that goodwill was gone. Every last bit of it. Rian Johnson sucked it out and let it drip out like gravy out of a fat man.
Right. Ryan Reed, I'm looking forward to Obi-Wan. I like Ewan McGregor. I think
I'm looking forward to Obi-Wan. Yeah, especially after seeing what they did with Mandalorian. Hell yeah, I'm looking forward to Obi-Wan.
Yeah, no
doubt.
Yeah,
give me more Obi-Wan.
All right, we ready, gentlemen?
Let me post this. Let me post this in the Discord.
All right, put it on Facebook, so I just need Discord.
Yeah, I saw it. Okay. Sorry, JR, we're boring you with our Star Wars talk.
No, actually, I watched the first Star Wars movie in the theater in 1977 when it came out, and I just remember just what an electric experience it was. And I tried to tell Spencer, just you have to appreciate the times, to really understand its impact, and like in the 70s, because I grew up with very nihilistic science fiction. The Charlton Heston trilogy, Planet of the Apes, Omega Man, and Soylent Green. It was all dystopian.
Soylent Green is
people. It was all dystopian, and we were all going to choke on smog, and then Star Wars came out. And it was just bold and bright and fun, and and I mean, it was fun. I mean, it's hard to.
Yeah.
I mean, the humor in it was just, you didn't see humor like that in a science fiction film, and it was just. And the thing is, what's happened with it lately is, I don't understand. It's like, well, I get, when people talk about George Lucas's vision, George Lucas didn't have a vision. George Lucas had one story, and he played this myth that he had some big multi-epic story. He didn't have one. He was out of ideas by the time of Return of the Jedi, because he repeated. But for like 40 years, people have been thinking, okay, there's this saga. There's this. It's going to be a multi-generational storyline. So, like, why couldn't this third trilogy? I mean, everybody wanted to see Luke, Han, and Leia go off into the sunset or something. Why? And yeah, I mean, the mortality of the actors and everything else. Yes, this was their last ride. Yeah. Why couldn't it? I mean, that's what everybody wanted to see, and then we get this crap, and then they sit back and wonder why people didn't like it. I don't know if it's people who live in I don't know if it's people. I think a lot of it has to do with merchandising and licensing. I think J.J. Abrams got a cut if he made up new characters. I mean, he did the same. They did the same thing with Star Trek. That's why they gave up on Star Trek after the first film, because CBS wouldn't stop distribution of the original series stuff.
Okay, now in fairness to them, though, on that point, JR, you're not going to carry another 3 movies with the Crypt Keepers that the main cast were.
Yeah. I mean, no, but the first movie should have been about them, and then you ease into, and then by the time you're in the third one.
Oh no, I agree with that.
It should have been about the grandchildren, but I mean, you start off with the 3.
I agree.
Harrison Ford probably wasn't going to do any more. He'd been wanting Han to be killed off for ages.
The only way he came back is literally he told them, if I come back, I get killed.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but the thing is, we didn't even get to see Luke mourn his friend and brother-in-law.
We didn't.
It's in a deleted scene.
Yeah.
And it's like, and we didn't see Leia mourn her husband. I mean, she hugs Rey.
J.J. Abrams has Chewbacca walk right past Leia as he gets off the even Abrams has said, yeah, dude, that's on me. I screwed up. And I'm like, hell yeah, you screwed up.
How can you not know that? How can you not realize that's wrong to begin? But
it's because they were so myopically focused on Rey being the new Mary Sue, Rey being better than everyone else, all that kind of crap.
I could see. I mean, you start off with the 3. You send them out in a dignified way, and you end up with the next generation taking over.
Speaking of the next generation, Ryan Reed wants to know about your Picard thoughts. I don't think you're not signed up for CBS. We've gone over this, right?
No. I don't do. I won't even. I have a free year of Disney Plus on as a Verizon Unlimited, and I won't sign up for it. It just streaming is. I refuse these. I refuse.
JR, you're streaming right now.
I refuse to acknowledge these newfangled technologies.
Oh God. Sam's Tangled Web. What's up, sir? All right, let's get started, gentlemen. Are we ready, George?
Yeah. By the way, Picard thoughts. I bet it's going to be crap. I mean, I don't have any faith in.
I do.
I don't have any faith in the group that runs it. That's the thing.
Yeah,
well, Discovery was both seasons were good. I liked it.
No,
you're the one.
Yeah, that's not Star Trek.
You're the one.
Having people drop the F-bomb just so they can do it.
The one character that dropped an F-bomb, I can see it. She's one of my favorites.
Yeah, but it doesn't belong
George, you dropped the F-bomb.
It doesn't belong.
If you were in the 23rd century, George, you'd be dropping F-bombs that the ship's gravity could not
if I
hold
was a
them
Star
down.
Trek character. I wouldn't because that's Star Trek. It's every bit as
people don't cuss in the future.
It's every bit.
I guarantee we
it's every bit as disjointed as seeing Doctor Strange say call the bad guy asshole in the Doctor Strange movie, which Doctor Strange would never do. Which it's just jarring as if Darth Vader walked in the room, started calling everybody a jerk off. It's out of
James
place.
Earl Jones calling people jerk offs. I would pay to see that.
All a jerk off. Okay. All right. Let's get started.
Hang on. I wanted to say one more thing. All right. Before we start. And this is about Disney Plus because I can't stop talking about how great Disney
know. You need commission.
You recommended the Jeff Goldblum thing.
Yeah, I did.
The Jeff Goldblum thing is awesome.
Good.
Oh my God, the Jeff Goldblum thing is I didn't even know I needed that in my life.
Is that the name of the series, the Jeff Goldblum thing?
The World According to Jeff Goldblum. Yes, it is. It's awesome.
Every episode he does a topic. I've watched the ice cream one and no, not the tattoo one.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm a couple of behind because
I am too.
I've been watching The Mandalorian, and then I've been watching that Imagineering story about the making of the Disney parks.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
And I wanted to point this out because this is funny. All right, so this was originally going to be a movie, and then they said, you know what? No, let's make it Disney Plus and let's make it a series. It's a documentary series by the daughter of I don't know if his name is Ubi or Ub Iwerks, the co-creator of Mickey Mouse, the guy that worked for Disney.
Oh, cool.
Back in the day. It's his daughter or granddaughter, I'm not sure. But it's a look at like the creation of the Disney theme parks, right? And how that's evolved. And it has been a fantastic series. And it's like it's narrated by Angela Bassett.
Oh, cool.
And all along, and it goes up like the last episode came out today, and the last episode like took them through Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland, right? All the Star Wars stuff. So you got to see a lot of the
Did they talk about Marvel or anything?
Oh yeah.
Oh, good.
So you got to see a lot of the behind the scenes stuff about that. But here's the thing: all up through the Disney years, through the Roy Disney years, all the successors, what's Michael Eisner?
Yeah. He was in the 80s.
All of these people, right? Because they go through all of the different, heads of Disney and how the parks changed under them and how the company was changing and everything. All along the way, they admit mistakes. All along the way, they were like, this was a misstep. This was a misstep. We effed up here. This was bad. This was bad. Until they get to Bob Iger. And suddenly with the Bob Iger thing, they don't talk about the miscues because from everything that I've read online, everything that I've read in the press, and the press, mind you, and the press who hates the toxic fandom, the press, everything I've read about so far about Galaxy's Edge is how attendance has gone down through the toilet. Yeah. No one's going to it. And everything I've seen online, because they've got videos on YouTube where people like go through it. They only had one ride out there. It was the Millennium Falcon ride, and everything else was a store.
Oh,
so stores and restaurants.
So people were like, okay, there's no reason to go to this, especially after Disney jacks the price up $30.
If you go into Disney World, is it part of it?
Yes, it's not a separate. It's not. It's
not a separate park.
Yeah, okay. It's in the Magic Kingdom in Disneyland and the Magic Kingdom over in Disney World.
Okay.
And why would you want to go to a Star Wars land where like stormtroopers and Darth Vader and 3PO and R2D2 aren't roaming around? That's who you want to see in a Star Wars land. We're what weirdo planet are they on? That nobody's ever heard of. I don't know.
So it was weird to me because like all along they're admitting mistakes. They're like, this was a misfire. When we did this over in Tokyo Disney, we did this wrong. When we did this over in Disney Hong Kong, we did this wrong. When we were thinking about this new thing at Epcot, we did this wrong. And then suddenly all of that goes away when they get to Bob Iger.
Yeah.
Suddenly they talk about Galaxy's Edge and how excited it suddenly it turns into propaganda for the last episode. I was like, that's unfortunate. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, he's going to run. He's going to run for president in 2024.
The people paying the bills to film this documentary are still paying the bills. They don't want to follow the money.
Yeah, but I had a problem with that. I at first I was like, because Disney's not normally they're like Marvel. They're one of these companies that's like they're not into mea culpas. They're not into admitting fault.
Right.
And so in this series, I was like, oh my God, they're actually admitting fault on a lot of stuff. Of course, this is stuff from decades ago. But they're saying, yeah, we screwed some stuff up. And then suddenly it's Bob Iger, and it's like, no. And then suddenly Jesus came and cured the ill.
Joey in YouTube chat says he's missed the 81 series of Spider-Man that's on Disney Plus. I tried to watch the first episode. Man, I don't know. It doesn't have the same nostalgia that Amazing Friends does that I can just gloss over the errors. But
Chi-Town says he's going to go to Galaxy's Edge and he doesn't care if it's all stores. I would go. But I would just go the one time. If it was all stores, I would just go and see all the robots and stuff and ride the ride, and then I guess it'd be done.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Chi-Town, are you going to build yourself a $200 lightsaber?
Oh my God, that's ridiculous. Awful. Yeah.
I remember my first lightsaber. It was made of the same material that wiffle ball bats were.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And there were things on the end of it, and when you swung it, it made a whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah.
What I've read about the lightsaber thing, by the way. Mm-hmm. Is so yeah, you have to pay $200 to go in, and you have to have an appointment. You have,
Having
to
a
have
lightsaber.
you have to have an appointment and then spend $200 to go in and build your lightsaber. It's a custom experience. I guess there's a lightsaber professional there to assist you in the placement of your kyber crystal and so forth, right? To assemble it, you get it the way you want it, everything else, yada yada, and then they box it up and they tell you that you can't take it out in the park.
Oh.
And this part, now hang on, this part I get, because here's the thing. Back when I was a kid, here in Texas, we have like Six Flags over Texas. You've probably heard of it. It's like
We got one in St. Louis too.
So, when I was a kid, right, and I'm talking about when I was in grade school, my dad used to give me like the summer pass, and then he'd have like one of the nurses that worked for him at his doctor's office, like just drop me off. Like, I need you to, it literally said, I need you to take the boy, get in.
How old were you?
Just probably 5th grade. And he's like, take him and his friend, run him out this is a time when you could do that, Brad.
I know.
You can't do that anymore. But
I'm like thinking to myself, am I going to let my kid do that? I'm like,
here's it. I mean, back then we let kids ride around in pickup trucks and hey,
and
guess
without
what?
seatbelts, yeah.
We were all okay. We played with lawn darts. We had common sense. Anyway, don't get me started. But
Michael Reed, I want to play that Star Wars PS4 game. By the way.
So we so my dad would like have a nurse, like come pick me up during the summer, drop the boy off, and then I'd start at Six Flags. Here's a little extra money, thank you. And then I'd call that Dad's office. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm done here. And then he would dispatch
on a payphone, right?
He would dispatch another nurse to go out and pick me up from Six Flags and take me back home.
Did that still happen when you were in high school or college? Did the nurse come help you out?
Every now and then, yeah. Like, if I was in a tight spot,
did you get a date? I mean,
no.
I was about to say, hey, Dad, I need another nurse.
No, typically not. No. But there were people. But
redheads this time, Dad.
I mean, they were people I'd known since I was a kid. Since I was like way younger. Like people that had worked for my dad for a while.
Yeah.
So he would be like, here's a few extra bucks. Can you just go get the boy? Thank you. But back then, right? Like, so I was out there with a friend one time, and we had like little plastic pirate swords, and we started fighting with those, like dueling, and we kept almost hitting people in the face.
Oh.
So I get why Disney does the $200 lightsaber experience. Oh, this is a perfect lightsaber. Then boxes it the hell up, steals it, and tells you not to open it until you get home. I get it, because Disney doesn't want to get sued when you put somebody's goddamn eye out.
Okay, let's get started. What do you think?
Yes, let's get to these spider histories.
All right, coming down in 3, 2. Hey, Crawl Spacers, welcome to Friday Night Fights. And we're tackling, going back to Peter Parker, number 67. But before we get to the issue, let's introduce who we have on the panel. We've got, you can't do Friday Night Fights without George. At least we haven't in the past. What's going on, George?
I like how we're going to go jump into like spider history, and you're like, oh, we can't do Friday Night Fights without George.
Well, you can't.
It's true, but I mean, we're doing spider history.
No, we're not.
Yeah, no, I guess we're going to do Peter Parker 67.
Right?
Oh,
I'm sorry. I thought
this YouTube channel is called Friday Night Fights December and January.
I thought we were starting with spider history. My bad.
We are not. So
we want to. The people want to get their Friday night fights and then go to bed before spider.
Exactly. They want to get their Friday night fights on a Friday. Yeah.
They want to get to the fun stuff.
And you can do Friday Night Fights without JR, but he's here anyway. There's JR. What's going on, sir?
Oh, I'm just getting ready for Christmas. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
You get all what you get the missus this year. I don't think she watches the stream. You can probably tell her or tell us.
I hope she has a Merry Christmas.
Okay.
All right.
What's the best Spider-Man related Christmas gift you've ever gotten, JR?
Probably. Now I think about it. More than 50 years of memory. How does the mind contain them all? I'm probably thinking and I've mentioned this before too. It's a small statue, based on John Romita Pose or whatever, and I just that's the one I remember. That's the thing I most vividly remember. No. This was when I was a kid.
Oh.
My wife doesn't give me anything.
Oh.
My wife didn't give me anything.
All right. Well, we're starting off strong. With a fight, a marriage fight, George. We're going back to.
What? But you're not even going to ask me.
Oh, I'm sorry. What's the best Spider-Man gift?
Wow.
Yeah. What is your
Spider-Man
wife get
Wow.
you, George?
I see where I rank.
What's the best Spider-Man gift you ever got?
So one year,
Christmas.
my parents, who of course know that I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, and this is my mom and my stepdad. This is probably early 2000s, sometime around there.
Mm-hmm.
It was around the time we were doing Hero Realm JR, before I had left. So one year they went all bananas and got me. It was an all Spider-Man Christmas.
Nice.
Right. I mean, they scoured every store, everything that they could. This was back before you had online shopping, or before it was really a big thing, like before Amazon had taken off or whatever, and people thought it was witchcraft. So they bought me so many Spider-Man things. And unfortunately, a lot of them were Ultimate Spider-Man.
Oh.
And they didn't realize
However, it was probably Mark Bagley art, so that's not awful.
a lot of it was Ultimate Spider-Man, and so they're like, "Oh, the boy will love this. He'll be so excited. Our son will be overcome." And so I opened up half this stuff, and I'm like, and I thought, so because on the one hand, you're like, "Oh my God, my parents have done what at least what they consider to be a huge thing," and it is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a very nice thing to do. On the other hand, I hated Ultimate Spider-Man like cancer, so a lot of it was bad. And a lot of it was back from the time, where it used to have the crappy Spider-Man logo from the 90s.
Yeah.
When they got rid, like it was all
The
straight
spikes.
letters and
Spike.
and it just looked stupid. This
Yeah.
is literally the stupidest Spider-Man logo they've ever
I was
had.
trying to see if I got one around here, but I don't. have one.
And so, but they got me a watch. My stepdad in particular got me a watch that had that logo on it, unfortunately, but it had Spider-Man on it. And it wasn't Ultimate Spider-Man; it was just normal Spider-Man. It was a good little watch, but it was inscribed with a message from my stepdad telling me how much he loved me.
Aw,
And that
really nice.
that is why even though I am so particular and nitpicky, right, about what Spider-Man that I like and everything else, that is my favorite Spider-Man gift of all time.
Michael Reed is asking, I can't wait till you guys give yourself quote unquote gifts. The Christmas gift exchange. If you're watching this live stream, you'll want to tune in. What day do we pick it? Monday, the 23rd?
Monday the 23rd, I believe.
The 23rd at 7 p.m. is when we're going to record that. So if you want to watch the live stream, you can catch that live there. But let's get into Friday Night Fights. We're going back to June of 1982.
Yes.
I'm using my friends over at spiderfan.org. We're going to look at Peter Parker's Spec number 67 with a great looking Ed Hannigan cover with Spider-Man and the arms of the spider showing a different scene. It says adventure, mystery, romance. Face it, friend, this issue has it all. And
a lot of good covers back in those days.
Yep.
A lot of good
Writer
covers.
Bill Mantlo, pencils by Ed Hannigan. So take me through this one.
And well, this one was, hang on, I'm looking to the Discord real quick, and I should have found this earlier, and I wasn't prepared. Someone kept suggesting this issue, and it was DC Marvel Fan Guy.
There you
That's
go.
what it was. It was DC Marvel Fan Guy. And at first I was like, well, I don't know. I feel like we'd cover some Boomerang stuff, because Boomerang is so big right now. Boomerang is so topical. And so, well, I don't know. But then I went back and I reread it, and I was like, you know what? This is actually a pretty good fight. So yeah, we'll go ahead and cover this one. Okay. So DC Marvel Fan Guy, this one is for you.
Nice.
Because fans demanded it. This one's for you, DC Marvel Fan Guy. But yeah, it's by Bill Mantlo, who how long ago has it been since?
I think he was in a coma like in the 90s. I think it's been 20 years or so.
No, but he passed away.
No, he hasn't.
I thought he had.
Nope. He's just
oh, okay, yeah.
Just not himself. I don't know how to phrase it, but
okay.
Yeah, he was on a rollerblading or something like that, and he got hit by a car.
Yeah,
I remember that part. I guess because around the time of Guardians of the Galaxy came out, because I remember there was I think they had shown it to him or something like that, or something. I can't remember.
I remember that.
There was some kind of news about him, and I guess maybe I was thinking like for some reason I was confusing that with him having passed away. Well, that's good though that he's still with
Oh,
us.
he's still alive, but
Okay, well that's good.
1992 is when he got
Oh,
hit
even
by
farther
that
back
car.
than I guessed. Yeah.
I guess it's so easy. I say so easy. That's unfortunate. I guess we kind of start defaulting to that with like guys that have been around that long, just because so many of them are, unfortunately, passing away these days. Well, that's a horrible way to start a Friday night fight. Anyway, but no. Now this is not the first appearance, mind you, of Boomerang. I think Boomerang's wasn't his first appearance like fighting the Hulk.
Yeah, around 212.
Wasn't it like
Incredible
no,
Hulk, yeah.
no? I think it was like Tales to Astonish or something, wasn't it?
Oh,
He had like a completely different outfit back then. It was like really stupid looking.
well, as you start talking, I will look up that answer.
Yeah, I think it was Tales to Astonish. He had a completely different
Tales
outfit.
to Astonish 81. There you go.
There you go.
You go.
So so this one it's got a lot of things that we typically like about.
Wow, I didn't know Fred was a Stan Lee and Jack Kirby creation.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Went way back. Not the way he looks now, but like just as far as introducing him in the get go.
Yeah.
But this is a good Spider-Man story because it has a lot of elements that we like. It has aside from Spidey, it's got the Kingpin and the whole underworld thing. It's got Fred.
Yeah.
Right, and we like Fred. This was typically a good time for Spider-Man. The
Early
the
80s.
Yeah, the ESU days, right?
Yep.
And no, I mean the fight itself is actually fairly memorable for the twist that it takes at the end.
Yep.
But no, I mean it starts off with Boomerang killing a guy that was going to drop dime on the Kingpin. Like he's actually in witness protection, like the worst type of witness protection I guess you could have.
Yeah.
Right. Like
Just
a guy,
like a hotel room. Yeah.
yeah, like a guy's gonna go ahead and turn over on the Kingpin. So they have him like in a hotel room in New York, and there's not even anybody in the room with him. Like the feds are across the street
Having dinner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they're not even. I'm like every now. I'm not a Fed. I'm not with the FBI. I don't know how they do these things, but every time I've seen a movie, when you're in witness protection, getting ready to testify, there's Feds in the room with you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like the only thing you get to do is go to the bathroom, and even then they walk in there first to make sure there's nothing you can hang yourself with, right? But no, this guy's like soaking his feet in the hotel room while the Feds are across the street, and so Boomerang, busts in and blows this, like the side of the building is gone.
Yep. It's a
Right.
big boom.
Yeah, and then like the Feds are coming up the stairs trying to get to him, and he uses a boomerang to like saw the stairs in half and everything. Then makes his getaway. Makes the Feds look like complete idiots.
Who knew Boomerang had boot jets?
I did.
I'd forgotten that.
I think he even used them in the Sinister Syndicate story.
Okay.
Remember from
With DeFalco and friends.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think he used them back then too. Anyway, we digress.
Yep.
So Boomerang shows up to the Kingpin's tower, to Fisk Tower, and busts in demanding to see the Kingpin, as you do.
Yeah.
You just show up at Fisk Tower. You don't have an appointment, and you just force your way in. And he's like, "Look, I took care of that stool pigeon for you." And the Kingpin's like, "Oh, that guy that I filled with so much BS, that he was going to give them absolutely nothing and throw them off the scent of all these other things. Yes, thank you, pal. Thank you for blowing this thing that I had intricately set up, to have happen. Thank you." So Boomerang's like, "Well, there's got to be something I can do. Probably kill somebody for you." And yeah, as is typically the case, a lot of times when somebody shows up to work for the Kingpin, they wind up fighting his goons.
Yeah.
And so
Dude,
Boomerang,
being a Kingpin goon is not a good job. There's a lot of long-term employment with that job.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
So like even or even if you're like one of the Kingpin's sparring partners, because God forbid you actually
Get them on a bad day. Yeah.
or win, right?
Yep.
I think that was actually a story, wasn't it, JR?
Well,
Like-
the Kingpin's fighting partners.
Like didn't like maybe it was Lex Luthor, maybe it was a different bald guy, But it seems like there was somebody that was like sparring with him and he won, and then whoever it was had him killed after that.
I could see that happening.
But anyway, yeah. So he beats up the Kingpin's goons, then throws a boomerang at the Kingpin, which the Kingpin catches midair.
Yeah.
And then just kind of snaps with his hand and lets it fall. And I'm sure that probably that JR hated that.
You hated that, JR?
I don't, I'm trying to actually find the comic or whatever. My vaunted subscription to Marvel Unlimited does not have number 67.
It does not.
And just so I don't remember. I don't remember this issue at all, to be honest. That's why I'm looking. That's why I'm frantically looking for it.
Because it made me think about all the times when, like, we talk about the Kingpin and JR's like, dude, Spider-Man should whip this guy's butt 10 times out of 10. And then
Spider-Man should, but this is not. He's not fighting Spider-Man.
Well, no, he's not. But he's still catching a boomerang in midair. And
when you're as big as the Kingpin, I mean, it's I can kind of see that.
But it's funny because we've had these discussions many times now between Spider History and Fight Club. Is that JR's like, dude, Spider-Man ought to beat the crap out of Kingpin every damn time. And Brad and I are always having to remind JR. Well, a lot of the times when Kingpin does well against Spider-Man, it's because Spider-Man is either injured or has been slightly incapacitated or weakened somehow.
That's laziness on the part of the writers. They can't they can't tell an honest story, so they got to cripple Spider-Man somehow so that it can be a fair fight. That's ridiculous.
Exactly.
You do it once and it's okay, but they've done it more than once, and more than once is bad. Yeah, more than once is bad. More than once, then maybe Kingpin needs the power up if you're going to have him go toe to toe. Eventually, I think that's probably why it was so easy to shift him off towards Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, we digress. So Kingpin crushes the boomerang, and Boomerang offers to go after Spider-Man. He's like, you know what? Surely you hate. I know you hate Spider-Man. You hate Daredevil. And so Kingpin's like, okay, sure. I tell you what, champ, you go out and kill Spider-Man, and then I may send you after other people. Hint, Daredevil. Sure, you go get him, Slugger. Or
Pitcher.
Yeah, Pitcher. There you go. Go. But he's basically like, okay, little kid, go for it. Let's see what you can do. So sure enough, Boomerang takes out into the city on his rocket boots, and the Kingpin's goons, they start waking up, and Kingpin's like, well, I'm sure you're already ashamed of yourselves and how inept you are. And his goons point out, they're like, this guy's fast, but he's not Spider-Man fast. There's no way this guy has got a chance. And Kingpin's like, oh yes, I know. Right.
Yeah.
But I like this. It was fun going back and rereading this because of all of the current animosity and all of the stuff going on between Fred and the Kingpin now, right? I don't know. It just felt good. It was like it made me like the stuff that Spencer's doing even more.
Yeah.
So eventually, Boomerang goes to the Daily Bugle, to hang out and wait for Spider-Man, which is actually a pretty safe call if you've done your homework as a contract killer.
Yeah.
Like if I want to find Spider-Man, what do I do? You know what? I'll go stake out the Bugle because he's usually there at some point.
Yeah,
doing something. And sure enough, Boomerang, gets the jump on him, starts throwing explosive boomerangs at him, which almost gets Spidey. But we've got the spider sense. It's harder to get Spidey than you think. Mm-hmm. And he's agile enough. Between that and the spider sense, jumps out of the way. There's a giant explosion on the side of the building.
A whoom whoom sound effect.
Whoom whoom. And then to get him off his toes, Boomerang throws like a high pitched sonic boomerang at him. Right.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good hit.
Yeah, Boomerang's got some. He's got some tools in the and on the belt there.
Yeah,
he's doing pretty good.
He's like the Hawkeye of boomerangs.
Yes, he's like Hawkeye but with boomerangs and a villain. So, but
Hawkeye was a villain. Yeah.
Well, that's true. That's true. And hits him with the sonic boomerangs. Hits him with throws different boomerangs at him. Spidey's like webbing them up, hoping that he's gonna disarm Boomerang somehow. But then it turns out no. Surprise! It's gas boomerangs. and Spidey wasn't ready for that. So he's fighting on. He's got the gas cloud around him, it's weakening him and everything. And he's thinking, gas, no, why did it have to be gas? But not the bees. That's what I kept thinking, except gas. And so, as soon as the gas hits him, then Boomerang closes in and just starts.
He's hitting them.
Yeah, we'll go toe to toe on this, right? And Spider-Man's like, this gas is throwing off my reaction time. I'm kind of in trouble here. So Spider-Man goes plummeting off the building, manages to get a web out onto the side of the Bugle, right, to stop him from falling. And then Boomerang cuts the web line.
He's hitting them hard.
He is. He's going after him.
After him.
And Spider-Man's even like, a wild pitch. I get it, because
he's a pitcher.
Right. So their fight spills over into the Daily Bugle.
Like it does.
Because as it does, because Spider-Man, he just had his web line cut. He manages to get inside, to stop himself from falling. Hang on.
Yeah.
I always forget to do this. I apologize.
It's all right.
There, go away, ringtone. All right. So the fight spills over into the Bugle. Boomerang starts using his little rocket boots like aggressively, like another weapon.
Yeah.
And so then Spider-Man becomes, aware. He's like, you know what? I there's a lot of innocent people around here. I should probably take the fight outside. So he throws Boomerang outside. He throws him out of the window, but he doesn't come out until he's made sure to throw Lance Bannon's camera out the window. Because Lance Bannon is in there taking pictures. Good. So Spider-Man's like, we can't have this. Can't have the competition. Sorry, Lance's camera.
Sorry, collateral damage there. Yeah.
And that
was a nice little touch. They could have gone to another
touch. It was a nice touch, but I'm like, this is kind of a
dick move.
It's kind of a dick move. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's probably got a camera somewhere else taking pictures of him fighting.
Spidey got to eat.
Spidey got to eat, yeah.
Spidey got to eat.
By gosh, let his journalistic ethics go to the wayside of shooting himself in costume and making himself the story. But he got bills, man.
Yeah, it does, right? He's got bills. So Spider-Man jumps out after he throws Boomerang outside the window. He leaps out after him, kind of gets the upper hand on him.
Yeah.
Right. And Boomerang wasn't ready for this. Fights him down to the ground. Manages to guide him down to the ground, and he plummets into an alleyway, and his boomerangs go everywhere. Spider-Man's fighting back really hard now, and suddenly Boomerang's like, maybe I've bit off more than I can chew.
Yeah.
Oops. Right. But watching the fight is the Kingpin's goons, the ones that got beat up earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And so Boomerang's trying to get away. Like, he's desperately trying to get away from Spider-Man. Rocket Spider-Man, or uses his rocket boots, hits Spider-Man in the face.
Yeah.
Right? Trying to get away. Gets off into the alley. And before Spider-Man can get down to him, he's cornered in the alley by the Kingpin's goons and what are they? They're in like a 78 Olds or something. I don't know what they're in.
Like every generic mobster car. Yeah.
Yeah. And they, except that they're wearing suits. Like, if this was like the late 80s or 90s, they'd be in track suits, but anyway. So they jump out with their Tommy guns, which is a thing that, I guess they still used in the 80s.
Maybe.
No, that's a fallacy. They were the mob was not using Tommy guns.
I think Bill Mantlo just wanted to hear the
probably. But no, they're not Tommy guns. They're like just little SMGs. They're probably Ingrams. I don't know. They jump out of the car with their little submachine guns, and they're like, "Yeah, Kingpin sent us after you, Boomerang. It's curtains for you." And then Fred is always pretty smart. Fred can always kind of put two and two together, and he's like, well, wait a minute. No, Kingpin didn't send you after me. You're just mad because I beat the hell out of you earlier, and you're trying to get back at me, right? And they're like, yeah, but, too bad for you. We've got guns. You don't have anything. And then Boomerang is like, oh, man, if only I had boomerangs. And then suddenly, like magic, boomerangs, a couple of boomerangs boomerang back to him, right?
Yeah.
Right as they start shooting at him, there's that, that line of machine gun bullets around him, behind the wall. But he manages to get his boomerangs, throws them out. They're not exploding boomerangs, just like regular boomerangs. And he manages to throw the boomerangs and disarm all of the Kingpin's goons in one go, right? But he's getting ready to throw another boomerang at them and I guess finish them off.
Yeah.
But then what happens, Brad?
Spider-Man comes in. Sorry,
Why-
Boomerang, but you're not going anywhere, is what he said.
Sorry, Boomerang, right? And so suddenly, like Boomerang stops them from killing him, but then Spider-Man stops Boomerang.
Yeah.
Everybody gets webbed up. The cops are like, woohoo! This is our big day. Sucks to be Boomerang. But Boomerang gets hauled off to jail.
It also sucks to be Lance Bannon as Spider-Man as he's swinging through.
Right? Not only did Lance Bannon lose the pictures, like you're not going to be able to sell the photos, he lost the camera.
And you see the caption, what Spider-Man says, that's one reason, but I also wanted to take this picture for the front page of the Tomorrow's Bugle. Lance Bannon, eat your heart out.
Spidey got to eat.
He got to eat.
Spidey got to eat. So yeah, Spidey swings away to go develop his photos.
Yeah.
And Kingpin watches him swinging out over the city. End of story.
Who is the winner of this fight?
Spider-Man's bank account. No, easily. I mean, easily is Spider-Man. Yeah.
I don't know. What about a draw?
How is this a draw?
Well, he whooped Spider-Man on the first half of the fight. The second half, Spider-Man took control.
Yeah,
And
but, I mean, Brad,
then-
at one point, he was trying to get away from Spider-Man.
Well, I mean, if the goons, I think the goons messed it up.
He was trying to get away from Spider-Man.
He was just trying to get some distance in the ring from him.
He was trying to get away from him.
I think they got in as many equal hits on each other. JR, what do you think?
I don't know. I mean, whoever the winner is the one who walks away, and Spider-Man walks away,
Oh,
or webs
that's
away, or
true.
whatever. Boomerang goes to jail.
But this is
Spidey wins.
if this is the equivalent, if we're doing the boxing analogy, someone just ran into the ring and interrupted the fight, which are the goons.
Not only did Spidey win, Spidey also saved Boomerang's life
Yeah.
doing it. I'm sorry. This is
So Spider-Man threw the boomerangs back to him. Is that what you?
yes, because he didn't want Boomerang to get killed.
Okay. Yeah.
Rather than, I don't know, web the goons up himself.
Yeah.
No, he throws Boomerangs because Boomerang's even thinking about it. He's like, I don't get it. Why did Spider-Man throw me my own boomerangs?
Yeah.
It was just going to turn me in. And
Right.
Spider-Man's like, well, because number one, I didn't want you to die. I'm not a complete criminal. I'm not a horrible
Yeah.
person. And also smile because this
Yeah,
is going on front
because-
page.
No doubt. I got to eat.
And and here's a big bag of go straight to hell for Lance Bannon.
Little did we know Facade would take him out years later, right?
Right.
Yeah. Who is Facade? We still don't know. Still don't know. So we got a couple questions in YouTube chat.
Yes.
Michael Reed wants to know Boomerang versus Hawkeye versus Bullseye in darts. Whose wins?
Who now?
Boomerang, Hawkeye, and Bullseye playing darts. Who wins?
Probably. Probably Bullseye. Probably.
I'd say Bullseye also.
probably Bullseye.
Joey wants to know, can we see a Friday night fight with Doc Ock and Spider-Man from Spider-Man 2? That'd be a good one. We've never done a film.
Yeah, we haven't done a film. I guess we could. I
that's
guess we could.
kind of fun.
We could rig that up.
There you
I don't know. Maybe make that a Patreon thing or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Bro.
Alex wants to know, I want a Friday night fight on Spider-Man's run-in with Wesley Willis. Who is Wesley Willis?
Wesley Willis, dude. No.
Who is
No.
that?
Oh God, how do I even explain Wesley Willis? All right, so
Do you know JR?
No, offhand, no.
once upon a time there was a guy who, oh God, did a lot of recordings about just about anything. I can't remember if he was a drug addict or if he was autistic or both or something. He had a lot of. What's the correct way to say this? He lived in a different
Plane.
place than we did. Okay.
Is he not a Marvel character, this Wesley Willis?
No, Wesley Willis. No,
Oh.
Wesley Willis is like. Hang on.
What an odd question, Alex. You've stumped 2 out of 3 panelists.
There's I'm trying to find out. I'm trying to see if there's still YouTube stuff for this guy.
Oh my God.
Like he would sing songs about anything, and they'd be the most random things ever. Like he made a song about Alanis Morissette. He made a song about Batman. Like what was this? What was this song? I think the name of the song was "I Whooped Batman's Ass."
What in the world?
Yes, exactly. And but the thing is like almost all of the songs were basically the same thing with different lyrics.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
In
yeah, here we go.
1989, yes, he was diagnosed with schizophrenia in 1989, and he began a career as an underground singer-songwriter in the outsider music tradition, with songs featuring his bizarre, humorous, and often obscene lyrics.
Oh, there you go. Who would have known when we started reviewing Peter Parker 67? We'd end on that. So, final ruling. Boom. Spider-Man. All right.
Here you go, Brad. Hang on. I'll send you the link to it here in the.
I was about to say, I want to comment on the last panel on this issue where the Kingpin is watching Spider-Man swing away, and it says that he knows, the Kingpin, that when his final confrontation with Spider-Man takes place, it will be the Kingpin who emerges victorious. Well, I got a story called Back in Black to sell you.
That's funny.
Honest to God, that should have been the final confrontation.
I know.
Still to this day, one of the. I mean, as much as I hate that period of Spider-Man,
That was a great
as much as I hate Civil War Spidey, that was a good issue. And I say this about JMS a lot. Is like even when like it was part of a horrible event, JMS usually found a way to make the story okay for Spider-Man. We talked about this again because like that was an extension of what happened with Civil War. But as much as I hated Civil War, JMS's story where Spider-Man had to fight Captain America and it was tearing Spider-Man up inside, having to fight him, a great issue.
Alex says, I didn't expect anybody to know who Alex was. Kudos to George for knowing who it was.
Gotta get up early in the morning to put one over on George. I tell you.
Says Daredevil would own Boomerang. That's not the first crazy baseball pitcher he faced.
Yeah, the Wesley Willis thing was out of nowhere. I didn't think I'd ever hear about that again. Yeah. I think Howard Stern used to play his stuff sometimes. I can't remember. I never listened to Howard Stern a lot, but I mean, this guy was kind of a maybe late 90s, early 2000s, I guess, is when maybe this was happening. He eventually passed away.
Real quick, Enigma has a request for JR. What is the request, Enigma? And then we'll wrap this episode up. If
it's going to cost me money, forget it.
All right, Enigma, write fast. Time is money.
JMS run went downhill after John Romita GM.
Yeah, I liked Mike Deodato stuff, but that brought in Sense Past and all that mess.
But for future Spider-Man history, cover Spectacular Spider-Man number 185.
185. Which one?
It's close to the next one we're doing next month.
It's a couple years off. I'm trying to think what 185 was.
Yeah, so am I.
So, George, guess what? That was the last Friday night fight of the decade.
Of the decade?
Of the decade. The next Friday night fight we're going to do is a new decade. It's the 2020s.
Oh, Frogman?
Nah. Well, technically, Brad, it's not the new decade until 2021. Okay.
And we'll end it there.
I'm just saying, that's how that goes.
I'm so sorry.
If it's like 2010, 2020, 2030, that's the last year in the decade.
Okay, my bad. This is Teach Math, Brad.
This is why 20th Century Fox didn't become 21st Century Fox until 2001.
I got it. Okay, you ready for the next one?
Yes. And 185 was when it was both Frogman and White Rabbit.
Okay, coming down in 3, 2. Hey, Crawl Spacers, welcome to our Friday night fight, the first one of 2020. George, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Brad. You're looking good.
Thanks, man.
Hey, no problem, man. The keto thing's working out for you. How hard is that, by the way?
It's not that hard.
How hard was it for you during the holidays? Since the holidays are
the
over
holidays
now.
suck. Well, I've hit my plateau of about 30 pounds lost since July.
Nice.
Mashed potatoes and cookies are just hitting me hard. It's damn near impossible to be on a keto diet in November and December. But
Dude, between Thanksgiving and the New Year,
oh man, it's just rough.
because
Forget about it.
You can't escape it. Anywhere you go,
Oh man, there's carbs everywhere.
there's cookies, different types of holiday breads.
Oh yeah.
There's leftovers, and that's what Thanksgiving is. It's like a bunch of turkey and a bunch of ham, and then nothing but carbs. Right? You know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
Carbs,
I know.
Carbs are the enemy.
Yeah, but they're so damn good.
And it sucks because I look at kids,
Yeah.
and it's like they're almost exclusively fueled by carbs.
I
Like
know.
carbs don't phase them. They can have all the carbs they want
Yeah.
until they hit anywhere from 20 to 23, and then suddenly there's
Then there's a carb plateau. Yeah.
yeah. Then suddenly the switch is going to get flipped real hard, and if they don't change their ways, suddenly they wake up and they're like, oh my god, how did I gain 100 pounds?
I had 3 pizzas. You should not bother me.
Yeah.
This Friday Night Fight is not about Spider-Man versus carbs, but let's first introduce our other panelists. JR, Happy New Year, sir. 2020 is here.
Yeah. Happy New Year. Looks like the same as the old one.
All right, curmudgeon. So we thought we would start off 2020.
Hey, hang on, Brad. JR, what brings you joy in life?
Oh no.
What brings me joy?
Oh,
What
God.
what actually makes you smile?
Well, when I see a puppy that I can kick,
God.
there's this little puppy alongside the road, and I can, and I just walk and I kick it and it squeals, or maybe there's a little kid who's eating an ice cream cone and I smack it out of his hand or something like that, or pop a balloon, and I things like that bring me a lot of joy.
Boy, it's like we have Oscar the Grouch on the podcast these days. I mean, my God. So we're headed back. This sounds just wrong to say.
What?
We're going back 30 years to 1990.
I know.
That seems 1990 seems maybe 10, maybe 20 if
19
you're pushing.
Yeah.
1990 to
1990.
Spectacular Spider-Man number 161.
We at this point we were less than, or I guess we were 8 months after the first Burton Batman movie.
Yeah, exactly. So
Around there.
let's take a look at this
89.
cover. You've got the Hobgoblin with flames all around him. He says, "Let's party." Is that that's Hobgoblin, not Demogoblin.
Well, it's
knows?
Hobgoblin,
Macendale.
but it's Demogoblin.
Yeah.
It's Demogoblin without being Demogoblin.
You've got the Puma, and you've got Spider-Man as drawn by Sal Buscema.
Our pal Sal.
Hobgoblin returns, and they also have that little Brady Bunch squares, like who's in the issue. You've got is that Katzenberg up there?
Nick Katzenberg.
Jameson, Hammerhead, Tombstone, Robbie, Reed Richards, I think.
Reed Richards is in this. Yeah.
And beautiful Mary Jane. So take me through this one. Written by Jerry Conway and penciled by our pal Sal.
Our pal Sal. Yeah. Well, it starts off with Robbie getting pardoned.
Mhm.
Astute Spider-Man fans that know their history will know that at one point Robbie went to prison.
Yep.
And astute Spider-Man fans will know that it didn't make a rat's ass worth of sense.
Mm-hmm.
It was a stupid subplot.
Yeah,
But I digress.
I'm not. You know what? No, I'm not going to say that because I actually enjoyed the Robbie Tombstone storyline.
I did too.
I did. did.
JR's wrong.
That was so
Suck it.
creepy. Robbie's my buddy. It's just like, ugh, give you the creeps. It's like
I
he had some
liked
kind
it.
of-
I like creepy villains
You
sometimes.
mean, yeah, but a villain gave you the creeps? Oh God, yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, Norman should give you the creeps, you sicko.
No. Norman's creeps were a little bit different than the Tombstone creeps. Where Tombstone. I thought we were friends, Robbie. It's like he had some kind of thing for him or something.
Hey, Norman slept with Gwen. Let's move on. That's creepy, dude. Come on.
Wow. I never thought I'd live to see the day that Brad dropped the mic on JR. That was fun though.
That's all right. I'll just rack up how many Spider Jeopardies I won. So
Oh,
Legitimately, he is the New England Patriots.
Hey,
Spider
guess how
Jeopardy.
many I've won, JR? One.
Oh, look, that's how many friends you had before your dog died.
All right.
All right, seems like it's Brad versus JR in this Friday night fight, but go ahead. Take me through it.
Yeah. So Spidey. Spidey, or it starts off with Robbie getting pardoned. Spider-Man eventually drops in, visits Reed to get a little consulting about Carrion.
Boy, look at that pose by Sal is totally aping McFarlane there. That's totally a McFarlane pose. I can totally see that.
I mean, McFarlane's not the one to draw him hanging upside down.
Yeah, it is. That corner box art is what that looks like from McFarlane's run. That looks like
I'm just saying. I mean, like Sal's always had really good perspective. Number one, perspective I think is what makes that shot.
Yeah.
But I mean,
it just reminds me of the McFarlane corner box art.
Yeah, but that's not that's
yeah. Anyway,
that pose has been around forever.
Okay.
But yeah, it does drops by, talks about, like C and D list villains, like Carrion, which is a C list villain, and Jackal, which of course is a D list villain.
You sure didn't C for clones?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
But yeah, he shows up to consult with Reed and try to get a little help, and Reed reflects on what a selfless person Spider-Man actually is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What?
but how come Spider-Man doesn't go see Reed to get Aunt May's cancer cured? I mean, if Reed can do all this crap, why didn't he just say, "Hey, Reed, Aunt May's got cancer," and Reed can give him a magic bullet, and that'll be it, right? We don't have to do this whole stupid ass storyline that we got going through Friendly
Reed
Neighborhood.
can't cure Ben Grimm from turning into a rock man. He can't cure cancer.
Yeah, that's a different thing, though. That's but no, I mean, they did address the not being able to cure cancer thing back during the death of Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
they did.
They did. Yeah.
They addressed that because I think Spider-Man was even the one that had a big problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, because not to digress, but I think we even talked about this at one point. I think it might have been during a Spider Jeopardy, but yeah, it was like Spider-Man was like really freaking out about that and didn't understand how a superhero could get taken out by cancer. And I think it was Beast that wound up.
Yeah, that's right.
On that one. It was like, dude, this is the big C. It hits anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that even we can't do. And I like that.
I did too. I
like that.
That makes them grounded a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's totally incongruent with Marvel science.
No, because they're the everyman. I mean, granted, they swing and they climb walls, but there's got to be some grounding. Like cancer is a modern human problem. And paying the bills is a modern problem. If the whole world was utopia, we wouldn't need superheroes.
Yeah,
I'm dropping it on JR again. Bam!
That's true. I mean, he's got you there, JR.
Oh, he's growling.
No, that's just like justifying the whole existence of the X-Men. Oh, they don't like me because
no, because
how do they know? How do they know?
No, because suddenly superhero scientists are like curing cancer. If that's actually a thing that can happen in that world, then suddenly we're moving away from superheroism. We're moving away from because at the end of the day, these stories they have got like people with incredible powers doing stuff, but they're still stories from a human bent. Yes. Like even Silver Surfer is a very human story. It's a story about trying to believe the best in others and getting disappointed continually. Yeah, from a point of naivete. But no, I mean once you get to that point, you've you're doing like transhuman stuff, like a next evolution stuff. You're not even telling stories about humans anymore.
And you can't.
No, I know that because if superheroes really existed, I mean, our entire culture would be completely different. It's just funny though to watch. It's just funny to see these stories play out. They always cross these lines and completely ignore any real world, any other implications of them. I mean, it's just one of the ironic things, I guess, you have to accept if you're going to accept these stories.
Yeah. In fact, I like that in the Marvel universe, there are villains that started out trying to do something noble originally.
Yep.
There were. I mean, like you could point to Dr. Octopus saying, and even with Dr. Octopus, it jumps out every now and then. The part of him that actually wants to better mankind and actually help them through science actually comes through like once a decade or so. And it's like
Right.
suddenly he loses the nuttiness and is like, well, okay, maybe I can help somebody.
Yeah.
You know?
And then after about 12 issues, after Sail Sink or whatever, they just like to go back to the way it was.
Right.
Well, it makes you wonder like if there wasn't a Spider-Man to perpetually drive him nuts just by existing. It's not a fault of Spider-Man. I mean, Otto literally is just triggered by Spider-Man existing, period. But if there wasn't a Spider-Man, would Otto would at some point Otto be reformed?
Funny that you mentioned that, George, because Spider History this month
No.
will explain. We'll talk about that.
January 2020 Spider History, or will we have?
Yes.
Okay, I just wondering.
This month. This month we'll address it.
Okay, good. There you go.
All right. You're welcome. You're welcome for the segue. Anyway, back in our story, as most people are like, "Where's the fight stuff? Where's the fight stuff in the Fight Clubs?
We're talking about cancer and
yeah. What are you guys talking about? Cancer and Dr. Octopus?
yeah. Okay, go back. Let's get back on track.
So, so Hobgoblin shows up. Now, this is a moment in Spider-Man history where the Hobgoblin, the Mackindale Hobgoblin, not the
Right.
Kingsley Hobgoblin, the Mackindale Hobgoblin, has perpetually tired of being a chump. And I think it's because he didn't take the Goblin formula the way Kingsley did. Am I right, JR? Is that why he was underpowered?
I think it's just because he's a loser.
Well, he's a loser.
I mean, I think that it was he didn't take the Goblin formula. I think he made a deal with the Grim Hunter, didn't he? And he got superpowers that way.
No,
So
he got powers from Nastir.
Well, Nastir turned him into a demon.
Nastir gave him the powers. Demogoblin came after Mackindale was dead.
Well, Demogoblin split from Mackindale. Mackindale didn't die until later when Kingsley killed him.
He inhabited his body, though. I think like he reanimated him.
What had happened was he went. Mackindale went over to the Grim Hunter, and the Grim Hunter, I don't know how he blackmailed him or whatever. The Grim Hunter gave him superpowers, so he had superpowers, but he was still a chump. And so then when the demons started taking over New York, this is how I remember it. I guess the demons started taking over New York.
It's like during Inferno.
Because Harry Osborn had beat him.
Yeah.
Harry Osborn had beat him, so he was feeling like a real chump. And so
and Doctor Strange kicked his ass after he was powered up. Never mind.
And so the demon said, "Well, you made me laugh, so I'll give you these powers." But it turned him into a demon, and then later, Demogoblin split off from Mackindale, and then there were like two of them running around, and then Demogoblin got killed. And then Mackindale got killed in jail later by Kingsley.
Yeah, because Demogoblin actually wound up not being a complete ass.
Right.
And at the end didn't he die in a church and was trying to save somebody?
Yes.
Yeah.
JR, real quick, refresh me.
Uh-oh.
So Ned Leeds was exposed to being the Hobgoblin. Is that when
That was a fallacy. That guy,
I know. He was framed. Is that when Kingsley went into hiding and Mackindale took over?
Yes. Yeah.
And so
Kingsley
did Mackindale just find the Hobgoblin suit? How did Mackindale take over?
Mackindale had the foreigner assassinate Leeds. And
Wolverine versus Spider-Man, yeah.
Yeah. And I guess another case of absolutely no communication in the Marvel universe.
Well, the seeds of that went all the way back to what, 254, when Jack-o'-lantern stole the battle van.
Something like that. Yeah, 257.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but the foreigner had sent some goons to kill Leeds on order, because Mackindale paid him, and then Mackindale stole all of Leeds' stuff.
So Mackindale paid the foreigner to set up Leeds, and then Mackindale just stole the suit, and then okay. That's a big storyline between Spec and Amazing, because it's been so many years since I read that.
This is why people tune into us, by the way, for all this deep dive.
That's a deep cut
for all this sexy B-side goodness here. But no, he shows up to try to talk to Hammerhead, right? Because he wants to get back into the contract killing game. The downside of Macendale getting taking a level in badass as Hobgoblin is A, it doesn't make him any more effective, and B, it actually turns him into a Hobgoblin.
Mm-hmm.
Like his face,
Yeah, he looks ugly.
His whole body is literally what the mask looks like.
Yeah,
it's not a mask anymore. So every time he takes off the hood, and he's always making a big thing about this. Every time somebody sees him up close, he's like, "Ha ha, it's not a mask." Even Doctor Strange, he said this was Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange is. If I recall, I remember.
I remember that. I remember that issue. Yeah,
and I was thinking like it was Acts of Vengeance, and I was like, Doctor Strange even asked? Did Doctor Strange even care?
No,
you know that it was. He was like, I probably just assumed you. I thought you were just ugly. I didn't know.
Doctor Strange has seen some ugly.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, he shows up in a tuxedo. And his head. He's not even wearing like a hat outside with like a disguise. He just walks up in a trench coat and the way he looks.
Yeah.
And it's freaking people out at the restaurant where he shows up. It's like a hoity-toity, restaurant and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Le Chateau or whatever the hell this place is. And so, the goon, he gives his coat to like the coat girl, and she's like, "Oh, this is a private party and everything." And then Hammerhead's goods come out. Bear in mind, Hammerhead is one of he's part of the Magia. And so sure enough, a fight ensues. They tear the tuxedo off. Hobgoblin has his entire costume on under the tuxedo, like everything, cloak and everything. And I'm like, I don't. It just seems impractical to me, but whatever, right? It's the 80s or no, it's not the 80s. It's
1990.
Well, as we established, it's the last year of the 80s. It's the last year of that decade, technically. All right. Anyway, so yeah, Hobgoblin makes short work between like the razor bats and his the energy blast in the glove. Makes short work of these goons and goes in and confronts Hammerhead and Tombstone, who are just in the back room, having a cappuccino, probably discussing the issues of the day.
Yeah.
And he shows up like, "Look, I'm here for work. Who do I kill?" It's like two stories in a row now. We've got somebody showing up offering to kill somebody. I feel like that's actually like 20% of all Spider-Man stories, by the way. It's like somebody showing up to kill somebody, like taking a hit out on somebody.
Yep.
And so yeah, Hammerhead's like, "Yeah, you know what? Kill Joe," and he just happens to have like a glossy, like an 8x8 of like Robbie. He's like, "Yeah, could you kill this guy? Could you kill this man?" And Tombstone's like
it's like the picture that they would use if Robbie wrote a column in the Bugle. Yeah,
like
an 8x10, yeah,
like in the picture in the paper kind of a thing, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, "Yeah, I need to rub this guy out," and Tombstone's like, "No, that's mine. Nobody kills him except me." And Hammerhead overrules him. He's like, "No, you're too close to this." I think from Hammerhead's perspective, Hammerhead's like, "Dude, if you were going to kill this guy, it would have already been done. Stop."
Yeah.
Stop. So he's like, "Yeah, you know what, Hobgoblin, you've got a reputation as an okay contract killer. Yeah, you know what, let's do it.
Yep."
And he's like, "What do you want?" And Hobgoblin's like, $25,000. That's my bargain basement introductory rate. And or Hammerhead's like, "Done. Go kill this guy." And Tombstone is rubbed the wrong way. Tombstone is like, "I don't like this. I don't like this at all." Meanwhile, back at Robbie's house, Robbie and his wife and Jonah and a lot of the people from the Daily Bugle and Mary Jane. Mary Jane is there waiting for Peter. Peter, who is late.
Yeah.
Peter's not there. And Nick Katzenberg, and I guess it's his wife. I didn't know Nick Katzenberg was married until I went back and reread this.
I don't know if he is married. Maybe that's just
no. I don't think it was his wife. I think it was. I think she was a lawyer, and
she's ponying up to him.
She just became thoroughly enamored of him. So I guess there's someone out there for everyone, I suppose.
Yeah, she's won some of that Daddy Cats. Look at her.
Daddy Cats.
She's all about this guy. She wants to make what is that song from Cats? Memories
on the corner of my Cats.
No, that's not from Cats. That's different Memories, Brad.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking the Barbra Streisand
well,
one.
You can find out next week instead of going to Rise of Skywalker. You can just go ahead and see Cats.
I doubt I'm going to see Cats in the theater. I loved Phantom of the Opera, and I went and saw that at the theater, and boy, was that a mistake.
However, a good musical I saw at the theater was The Greatest Showman. Did you guys like that one?
That was good.
I
That was
love
actually
that
good.
one.
Yeah,
That's
that
great.
one was good.
It was very good.
All right.
Okay, party at Robbie's house. Get out of jail party. Get out of jail.
Robbie's
free
pardon. All you can eat buffet apparently that Nick and his chick are hitting up.
card.
And I call foul because Nick, it looks like it's got a piece of fruit on there, and I'm like, come on, stop.
He's got a giant apple.
It looks like he's
yeah.
even got some salad on there and a turnip, and I'm like, no, what?
No.
No,
No.
no.
No,
No, and
he'd be in front of a pile of cheeseburgers.
And I'm not shaming Katzenberg. Like if I'm the guy showing up here, I'm probably hitting the Swedish meatballs too, and the
No doubt.
carbs, right? That's literally what's going to be on my plate: Swedish meatballs and taters.
Didn't he die from cancer, lung cancer?
Yeah, he
Yep.
died. Yeah, he wasted
Yeah.
away from one.
That, around the facade era and Webb, right? I think.
Yeah, it was back when Mary Jane was smoking, because the whole point of it was
Yes.
bring her in there. So
Yep.
yeah, I guess that's the same time frame, isn't it, Jr.?
Right before the Clone
It's-
Saga, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Right before
Yeah.
the Clone Saga.
There's another deep cut.
Yep. That's why you pay us the big bucks, Brad.
Yeah,
No doubt.
and then I was about to say, looking at this cast of characters, there's Randy Robertson and his wife, who soon disappeared a few years
Who
later.
was his wife again?
Her name? I think it was Amanda. I think that was her name. But we had a little, it was a little issue there, of course, the interracial nature of it. And
Yeah. I
of course, that kind of dates it a little bit. But she went by the wayside because now Randy is young and hip again,
Yeah, and so they're having a big party. Everything's going good, and then suddenly Jonah is nonplussed because Thomas Fireheart, aka Puma,
Puma in the house.
walks in the front door of Robbie's party. He's come to pay respects to Robbie, and to offer Robbie the president and publisher gig of the Bugle, which Fireheart now owns at this period of time. And remember why he bought it?
Oh,
pay a
forget.
debt of honor to Spider-Man.
So Jonah would shut up.
Yeah.
He bought it. He bought it to help out Peter. Yep. And because remember at this time, Puma's one of the few people that knows who Spider-Man is.
Because they smelled him.
From the
Yep.
scent, yeah.
They smelled him. Yeah.
Yep. Got it the same way Wolverine did. Wait, you're
And
Peter Parker.
Sabretooth.
Yeah.
Although Sabretooth didn't learn the name, but anyway.
Well, Peter Parker. Yeah, Sabretooth didn't have a frame of reference for Peter Parker the way Wolverine did.
Yeah.
Right.
Because Wolverine, I actually liked that story. That was
did
one of the
too.
few McFarlane stories that I like, because remember Peter was up there covering it for a story.
Is that the one that happened after the Lizard McFarlane story?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so he's up there with the Wendigo.
He
Yeah.
went there to cover the Wendigo, and then Wolverine had met him as Peter Parker, and then
That's pretty. Yeah, I remember that.
and by that time Wolverine had already met him as Spider-Man.
Mhm.
So then suddenly he's like, "Cool, all
I
right."
know who you are.
Yeah, I always thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Back then, unlike now, but back then, like somebody finding out was a big deal.
Yep.
Now it's like, okay, whatever. But back then it was actually cool. And unless you were like keeping up with a lot of books, you didn't realize it when somebody did. And back then you could count the number of people that knew on like one hand.
Daredevil was a cool reveal too.
It was like,
And Gene DeWolf.
yeah. And, or the people that suspected, like Robbie.
Yeah.
I still to this day maintain that Robbie knows that Peter and Spider-Man are the same person. And I like that every now and then we get a hint that that's the case. Anyway, we're digressing again,
We
as
are.
we do, because we're Spidey experts.
Mhm.
But yeah, here's the party. Puma shows up, or I'm sorry, Thomas Fireheart shows up to make the offer to Robbie, and Robbie's like, "That's fantastic. I need to think about it. I'm going to go outside and have sex with my wife."
Now you're making stuff up like JR does. He went out and kissed her.
I mean, why didn't he? It's their party. Why didn't he just kiss her inside?
Well, he's been in jail for a few weeks.
That's what I'm saying. They go inside because, like, when the moment is right, party or no, it's go
When
time.
the moment is right, Robbie has to go to the press, stop the presses because we're gonna go make love.
It's not gonna. It's not. Listen. This love making's not gonna knock itself out, right? Robbie's been away for a while. Robbie needs.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, doesn't Robbie need a little blue pill though by this time in his
Oh,
life?
no.
Apparently not. I mean,
He
because
need-
they didn't
he
have the little blue, they didn't have the little blue pill back then.
I think he needs a PEM particle to make him giant man.
You're better than that, bro. Come on.
Wow.
Come on, bro.
Oh,
You're
come
better.
on
You're
now.
better than that. You're
Come
better
on.
than that.
That-
Come on,
that's,
Joe.
that's a strictly Marvel comic joke, is what that is.
You're
My
better.
goodness.
You're better than that. You're
No,
better.
I'm
Come on.
not. You know I'm not.
I know you're not. You're a terrible person. You're a terrible person. All right. So, but before Robbie and his old lady can make the boom booms outside, they're terribly interrupted. They're cock blocked
The cop, the cop,
by the hob by the what, by the cock goblin. Bro?
cock goblin.
You're a terrible person. You're a terrible person.
This is a guy who spends the better part of his day educating younger people.
I'm off
you know?
the clock, Jr.
All right, so yeah. Hobgoblin comes in throwing pumpkin bombs.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Robbie's freaking the hell out.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? I just wanted to be held. I just wanted a nice romantic night out here, in our, and there's, because look, when they walk back, let's go a couple panels for when they walk outside to start making out. There's even like a trestle over, like rose covered trestle.
You can hear some Marvin Gaye in the background.
Oh, yeah. Let's get it on.
Let's get it on.
For Barry White, maybe.
Let's get it on. Yeah, there's some.
What's, JR, what song from Barry White?
Well, just any song from Barry White.
All I'm saying is Hobgoblin doesn't show up. Randy has a brother after tonight. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. All right. So anyway, yeah, Hobgoblin shows up to fulfill his contract, his hit on Randy, starts throwing pumpkin bombs. Of course, remember, Peter's not there. Peter's late.
No.
Peter hasn't shown up to the party. So Mary Jane runs outside, with other people. And, Mary Jane, of course, knows what the hell's going. She's in the know.
Yeah.
And so as Hobgoblin is raining, the pumpkin bombs down around there, dispersing the crowd, trying to get Robbie. Mary Jane pulls Puma aside and is like, "Dude, I know who you are. You know who my. I know that you know. I know that you know that you know that I know, or whatever. I know that you know who Peter is. I know who you are. You've got to do something. Peter's not here, and so." Sure enough, Puma cats out, rawr.
He cats out.
He Puma's out, rawr. And right as Hobgoblin is zeroing in on Joe, who's kind of shielding his wife on the ground, and he's getting ready to throw a razor, one of the razor
Bats
at Robbie, and then suddenly, bam! It gets blasted out of it's shot out of his hand mysteriously.
A shadowy figure shoots
A
it out.
shadowy figure with a rifle blows it out of his hand, and he's like, "Huh? Wait a minute now. Hey, how did that happen? These things don't just spontaneously explode. Actually, the razor bats, they don't explode at all. They just cut stuff." But then, while he's thinking about it and he's wondering, I wonder what has happened to this thing that doesn't explode yet. It has exploded. Puma jumps him.
Mm-hmm.
And Puma gets a hold of the glider, then manages to rip the glider out from underneath. I keep wanting to say Demogoblin because of the face. Yeah. Rips the glider out from underneath him, and then he makes a new glider out of fire coming out of his feet because he's got demon powers.
That's weird.
Yeah, and then Puma's like, I've made a terrible mistake.
Meow.
And he winds up zapping Puma in the face because obviously Puma's a little taken back. He's shocked by this, and he actually
figuratively, yeah.
And he shoots him in the face and yells, "Cat got your tongue," which I thought was funny.
Yep.
Because if you know your spider history, who was he involved with?
Black Cat. Meow.
Black Cat. So Robbie's house is now on fire.
Uh-oh. Welcome home, Robbie.
Welcome home, Robbie. But you gotta feel bad for Robbie. All Robbie wanted to do was hit the Swedish meatballs, maybe get some taters, right, and then
eat at the buffet table,
and
right?
and then have dinner at the Y.
Oh,
And well, that's terrible. All right. So
Good God, man.
so Hobgoblin is bearing down on Robbie again,
Yeah.
and then suddenly, out of nowhere, thwip!
With the double P's.
Finally,
Here's our man.
a web shoots out, attaches to him. Hobgoblin gets yanked down into the trees, and then Spider-Man is on like a park on like a street light.
Right.
He's like perched, kind of crouching on a street light, doing this, spinning Hobgoblin around like he's Thor's hammer.
Yeah.
Right? And then he throws. He lets go of like the web, and he launches Hobgoblin into the burning building.
Might as well take it back to Robbie's house. Yep.
Yeah, let's go back to Robbie's house. Let's try to do some more damage to my
Let's
friend's
go get
place.
some meatballs and kick ass.
Right? Spidey drops in. He's like, "Look, I'm sorry, I'm late." And spots Mary Jane, but before he can get the full 411 on what's going down, here comes Hobgoblin again, crashing outside, out of Robbie's house. And Robbie's like, "My insurance, my premiums," right?
Here's your reference to that Doctor Strange number 11 in the editor's note. He references taking on Doctor Strange.
He doesn't reference the fact that that Doctor Strange actually outsmarted him, and it wasn't that hard.
Yeah,
Doctor Strange beat him by, if I recall, he beat him by making him think that he turned back to normal and had lost his powers. Like suddenly, like he saw his reflection, he goes, "Oh no, I'm Jason McIndale again. I've lost my powers," and he literally ran away.
Right.
And Doctor Strange hadn't done anything except like Jedi mind trick him, and he just left. And that way, Doctor Strange didn't have to kill him.
McIndale's not very smart.
He's really not. God love him. He was a better Jack-o'-lantern than he was a Hobgoblin.
He was. But he's
was.
dead. He's dead now too, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he died.
Did Kingsley kill him?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kingsley Friday in Hobgoblin Lives miniseries.
Didn't he die before that and come back? It seems like he's been dead a couple times now.
Yeah, within the Marvel universe, it's possible.
That's probably for whatever reason. I want to say at one point he died and got better, and then he got killed again by Kingsley. I may be wrong. Anyway, then again, that happens a lot. It's probably
So Hobgoblin comes back strong.
Yeah, Hobgoblin comes back strong. He comes out of the house in the glider.
Yep.
Goes right after Spider-Man. Spider-Man's hanging on to the front of the glider. He's trying to blast Spider-Man in the face. Spider-Man's able to dodge out of the way. Spider-Man knows that he's gotten powered up.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember. I think they had one other fight before now where he had been powered up and Spider-Man knew about it, but I can't remember what issue it was. But I think it happened in Spec. I want to say it was like in the 140s, something around there.
Michael Reed says he came back when he was an Agent Venom, and then he died again.
Okay, maybe that's what I was thinking of. Although I obviously didn't read Agent Venom, so I don't know. Maybe I heard somebody talking about it. Maybe that's what made me think of it. Anyway, so yeah, he's trying to shoot Spider-Man off the front of the glider. Puma tries to help out. They're fighting, or he's flying Spider-Man close to like a billboard of a guy shaving.
Mm-hmm.
And he manages to shake Spider-Man off of the glider. Puma, meanwhile, jumps out after him. Is going to try to get him. This is what I don't understand, because at one point Puma was a contract killer.
Mm-hmm.
But Puma jumps out after Hobgoblin. And instead of just pouncing on him and beating the hell out of him, he yells at him to give him a heads up. Right? Yeah. Like because he could have taken. Hobgoblin didn't have Hobgoblin sense.
he didn't have any sense. Yeah,
he could have just taken him by surprise. Instead, no, he yells out, "Hobgoblin, I'm coming at you!" And Hobgoblin's like, "Oh, okay."
No,
why don't you just jump on him and start kicking the crap out of him?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with that. You've killed people before. Just take him out, right?
Yep.
Anyway, so he's getting ready to blast Puma because Puma has stupidly telegraphed himself and announced his presence. I'm coming after you. Okay, good. Let me try to shoot you
Let me duck.
on your way over here. And then the mysterious sniper fires again at the right moment, grazes Macendale's forehead, which remember now it's not a mask.
Nope.
Actually grazes his face with
Yeah.
the sniper shot. And buys enough time for Spider-Man to yell "Duck, Puma," and kick Hobgoblin in the face. His errant blast, like when Spider-Man kicks him, his glove blaster goes off. It hits the billboard. There's a reflection on the billboard because there's a guy shaving in front of a mirror, and I guess the mirror on that billboard was an actual mirror.
Yeah,
because like it reflects back off, blinds Hobgoblin, and so Hobgoblin is like, I can't see my eyes, and he tries to get away on the Goblin glider, while Spider-Man and Puma hold one another and make sure that one another are okay.
They are holding each other, yeah.
You know, and Spider-Man's like, I guess we're even, and Puma's like, no, we were saved. And then Spider-Man's like, oh, I wonder who that was. A gunshot. Somebody was firing a gun, and it turns out it was Tombstone.
Yeah.
Because as Tombstone said, no one kills Robbie but me, and so Tombstone was the one trying to stop Hobgoblin from killing Robbie, and managed to distract him with the shot long enough for
Macendale to fly off.
Yeah, for Macendale to fly off, and for Spider-Man and Puma to beat him. What I don't understand is how come Macendale didn't go back after him at some point.
Well, he's blind.
Well,
And
yeah, but he's going
shot
to
in the head.
He's not permanently. Well, he's not shot in the head. He's been grazed across the temple. That's a little different than taking one like into the brain pan.
Well, if you had a bullet go across your head, I'm going home.
Well, no, I mean, I'm saying,
but you don't have the powers of a demon.
I'm saying.
How do you know?
What I'm saying is I don't understand like why he didn't make another attempt at Robbie later on.
Oh,
because I don't think he does. I think it's pretty much just this, and then he's done.
Yeah, he was like, "That's not worth it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
winner.
Oh, I'll go ahead and say Spidey because really, I mean, aside from getting Spider-Man off the glider, Spider-Man gives better than he gets here.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. I'm going to say Spider-Man. Puma didn't really do all that much. Puma kind of showed up and Puma's part was to distract Hobgoblin. Yeah. A couple of times.
However, you have to give it to Hobgoblin. Well, you don't. I mean, not the fight, but you have to give him credit for taking on 3 people. He's getting shot by Tombstone. He's got Puma attacking him. He's got Spider-Man whooping on him.
It's probably the most effective Macendale's ever been. Yes,
3 against 1 on Macendale.
Fighting to a standstill against 2.5 people. Come on.
Who's 2.5? Who's the half?
Guy with a sniper rifle isn't
no, that could if Tombstone got the right shot and he's dead.
Yeah, but I don't get this. Like he can hit Tombstone with a sniper rifle, can blow the batarang out of Hobgoblin's hand,
but he can't shoot him in the
head.
Can't
hit him square in the brain.
But he can't hit him in the head. He can hit the thing that's smaller than the head. He can't effectively take him out, blow his head off. So I don't know. Yeah. So but no, I'm going to say Spider-Man and Puma.
And Tombstone.
I give Puma the assist.
And Tombstone gets an assist too.
Yeah, I think you'd have to. I think you'd have to say Tombstone gets an assist. But either way, it's another loser day for
Macendale.
For the most losery. Well, the most losery. I don't know. The most losery of the
Goblins.
I think of the Goblins, the most losery would probably have to be Lefty Donovan.
Or even Phil Urich there at the end when he was the Goblin Knight.
Oh, yeah. Phil Urich was very losery.
The Stacy boy, the Gwen Stacy and Norman kids.
Oh, Gabriel. Yeah.
The Gray Goblin. He's kind of...
Yeah, he was pretty losery.
Yeah.
No, I'm just talking... I'm like... But he wasn't a hobgoblin. He was a goblin.
Oh,
I'm talking about hobgoblins.
I was talking about all goblins. Okay.
Oh God, no. Bart Hamilton was pretty losery.
The crazy psychiatrist. Yep.
Although I don't know who was more effective. Actually, I think you have to say Bart Hamilton was more effective at what he was doing than Macendale ever was.
Well, yeah.
I would have to say he was.
Yeah. What do you think, JR? You're the goblin expert. Who's the worst goblin?
Oh Lord, there've been so many. Well, Mackendale was the one that
we're
overstayed his time.
we're forgetting Menace. The
I don't,
girl.
I don't-
Girl.
I don't count Menace. Menace is not part of my canon. Sorry, Brad.
Who's yours, JR? I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, Mackendale, because that was a character I just could not.
Yeah.
I couldn't understand why people kept writing him into the stories. It was a loser character. You know, he was an ineffective villain.
Yeah.
And it's like, but he kept showing up, and it's like, you know, and really that's the reason I many years ago I wrote my Squandered Legacy Hobgoblin series, because they had taken this great villain and just completely flushed it down the toilet. I would say Mackendale, just because he lasted so darn long.
Right. Squandered villains. Venom, I think, would fall under squandered villains. Great concept, just messed with, and I think it's the last. I know you two aren't reading it, but the Donny Cates' new Venom book is really solid. I think it's the best it's been since his first appearance. But that's a different debate. So that's how we're starting 2020, George.
Woo!
Okay, so that's a wrap on that one. YouTubers, we're going to take about a 10-minute break, and we will be back with Spider History for December 2019 and January 2020. We'd love you to stick around. Come back. We'll be up on the.
So if this is January, we're going to go back in time.
Yes.
To do the December Spider History.
Yes,
That's why during this show I'm like, oh, in the January 2020 Spider History, we're going to talk about whatever you were alluding to, JR. I forget what you were alluding to at the time.
Doc Ock and his
Doc Ock, yeah.
obsession with Spider-Man.
That's right. And JR, I've got to get that link. It's up on the message board. Never mind. On the admin. Okay. I'll find it. To the links. Okay. Fellas, we'll be back in 10. YouTubers, watch our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. In about 10 minutes, we're going to be back. All right. See you in a second, guys. Bye.
See you later.
Ready?
Later, dudes.